Hi there, good afternoon. You've tuned into ET Now, and this is Market Fatafat with me, Cheryl D'Souza. Along with me, I have Avan Dubash as well as Vinny Motiwala. Very good afternoon to you, ladies. And markets have actually recovered from the day's lowest point, 80 points after coming in for the Nifty. You had Nifty Bank that was outperforming the benchmark indices through the course of the day. But for now, from flat move to a positive bias, looks like a healthy day or healthy start to the week, Avan, isn't it?
Absolutely. So yes, indeed, it's a hectic week at that also. Lots of numbers that will be coming out. IndusInd Bank today, and then of course through the rest of the week we've got close to 18% weightage in terms of numbers. But let's run you through the movers then today. Indiabulls real estate, that's a smart mover within the broader markets. You've got something like a RIL Vikas Nigam as well. That stock has spurted up. I'm talking about Indiabulls real estate, a solid 13% on that stock. IBREL, that is. RIL Vikas Nigam 7%. Westlife Food, by the way, has been spurting up, and today is no exception as the stock has sweetly perched around the 740 mark in today's trading session. Tata Consumer Products as well is a newsmaker. You've got something like a Hoodco as well. That's a buzz. HDFC Life is gaining traction in today's trade, and Raymond as well has been a stock that has been on the upside, and today it's up by a solid 3.6%. In fact, we've got a lot of those buzzers included in our list of stocks, Vinny, don't we?
Absolutely. On that note, let's just get started with all those stocks that are buzzing. And on Technical City, we have Foram joining in with us, Foram M Chedda, while from the research team, we have Lisa as well as Ashesha joining in with us. A very good afternoon to all three of you all as well. And first stock that I'm going to pick out is the last stock that Avan spoke about, is Raymond. And Raymond, we're seeing a sharp uptick coming in the stock. Since the month of March lows, the stock is up as much as 47%. Even in terms of volumes, that is trading at around 11 times 20-day average. And it's trading near its 4-month high as well. Now, what's the buzz coming in? Just in a bit of a news flow that was around it, was that K. Narasimha Murthy was appointed as an additional director designated as an independent director. He's a specialist in terms of the turnaround for large corporates and cost reduction methods as well. And, Raymond overall has been focusing on that as well. They've already seen a bit of a turnaround on that as well. Now, do not forget that, why is there a re-rating that has come in in Raymond? According to Systemic's research report, it suggests that, the new management's efforts is to pivot the business and make them more relevant, looks well placed to realize the full potential and unlock shareholder value. They expect consistent earnings delivery going forward, and real estate and FMCG side could provide further triggers as well. So obviously that bounce back in real estate, FMCG side, which the company is focusing on, and obviously the new appointment of the additional director K. Narasimha Murthy, which is he's already a specialist in terms of turnaround, that will work out well for Raymond.
All right, that is Raymond for you. Moving on, let's talk about Cyient. And this particular counter, last time I checked, was trading high by about 6% on an intraday basis, reaching our highest level since October 2021. If you look at the reason why the stock was a buzz today, is the fact that Axis Securities has reiterated buy and raised the target price to 1,260 rupees per share from earlier a price target of about 1,050 rupees per share, which implied an upside of about 16%. They're saying that they see strong growth potential for Cyient, backed by robust deal wins and superior execution capabilities. They're also finding the valuations pretty attractive for Cyient. Axis Securities also said that the stock, which has risen, or they said that the valuations are attractive, but if you take note of what Cyient has been doing, it has risen over 12% in the last 3 trading sessions, and this after reporting a strong deal win as well as surge in its earnings in the quarter gone by. So that's Cyient for you, holding on to that good gains of about 2.7% as we speak.
Number 3 then is Macrotech Developers. That is a newsmaker in today's trading session as the company came out with its numbers. Just running you through the highlights then. The revenues and net profits did come in better than what the street was expecting. So at 3,255 crore rupees was the revenue, though it was down about 5% on year. Net profit grew 39% at 744 crores rupees. You had the EBITDA, which came in lower by 15% at 771 crores. Margins did contract at about 23.7%. The company did announce a bonus issue as well in the ratio of 1:1. They've achieved the best ever pre-annual sales, which surpassed their guidance of 11,500 crore rupees. It's been the 3rd consecutive quarter of 3,000 crore pre-sales. In terms of collections, up 23% in FY23 at 10,606 crore rupees. And the FY24 guidance says that they're on track to deliver a 20% medium-term sales CAGR and is on track for 20,000 crore pre-sales by FY26, with new project additions to the tune of 17,500 crore rupees, as well as lowering their overall net debt below 6,000 crores. That's macro tech, a little bit muted in trade.
Let's move on and talk about Mahindra Holidays and Resorts Forum. That's the first one that you've picked out for us, and I've not seen this on a lot of technical analyst charts in the recent times, but this stock has seen a very good run up, like, has started picking up that pace. 17% uptick in the last 1 month. Now also it's continuing to see the traction. Today also up almost 2 to 3%. What are the charts indicating for this one, and what's the target that you're keeping an eye out on?
Well, hi and good afternoon to all of you. Well, as you rightly made a mention that it's already seen a very good performance. So in fact, this year, since Jan, the lows what we've seen, since then at currently the stock price is trading at 306. It's gained nearly more than 26%. So overall, we've seen a stellar return so far. However, while it was for moving up higher, we've seen that technically it was very stable and gradually has moved up. It's not seen a very steep rise or a very steep fall. So since it's a very consistent stock and it's moving very well, we've seen that currently also today the stock price has been up by 2% but however there has been a bit of profit booking what we've seen today, but that does not mean that we can avoid the stock, but overall the trend is bullish and one can even look at buying the stock the moment it is retracing little. So currently the stock price is at 306 and one can look at buying within a range of 300 to around 303. The reason is that technically it did give a breakout from a small flat pattern. So normally a breakout from a flat pattern indicates that the continuation of an up move. So that is the reason why I'm giving a bit of a lower level and maintain a stop loss below the levels of 288 and look for a higher target of closer to 324. Adding on, from the past 2 trading sessions, that's today as well as on Friday, there has been a good increase in volume, which is supporting the bullishness overall to the stock.
Absolutely, that's Forum's take coming in on Mahindra Holidays. But Ashesha, let's talk about big boy Reliance Industries.
Well, yes, the company reported highest net profit growth that we have seen in the last 5 quarters. As far as numbers are concerned, the numbers were well above what the street was working with. Revenues declined a tad bit by about 2% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. Margins, meanwhile, also saw an expansion this quarter. Margins stood at 18.1% versus 16.2% margins that the company had reported in the previous quarter. As far as the net debt profile is concerned, it was largely stable on a quarter-on-quarter basis. Flat net debt despite higher capex, we believe, is a positive. Meanwhile, a couple of brokerage notes have also come in. JP Morgan, first up, has maintained its overweight stance on the stock and they've given a target price of 2,960 rupees per share. They say that the risk reward is pretty attractive and hence for now they are maintaining their overweight stance on the stock. Apart from this, Motilal Oswal is also maintaining its buy rating, target at 2,800 rupees per share. Jefferies, meanwhile, has given a target price of 3,100 rupees per share. They say Jio generated healthy FCF with elevated 5G capex, possibly opening the next leg of growth for Reliance Industries. They have upgraded FY24 and 25 EBITDA by about 3% and they are maintaining their buy rating with a target price of 3,100 rupees per share. The stock largely flat, not reacting much to the kind of results that it reported.
All right, let's get a move on then and Lisa discuss the first stock, Thirumalai Chemicals. Why is it a buzz today?
Yes, so Thirumalai Chemicals, as we know, they are the largest producer of phthalic anhydride which in the world. So what has happened that they are going to benefit from the rising prices of this chemical, that is phthalic anhydride, and that is on the back of global supply shortages as well as low inventory. Also, its raw material, that is O-xylene, is that is also seeing a sharp rise and that is also adding to the increase in the price of phthalic anhydride. Also in the last few days, the logistic cost in US is also seeing a rise and that is also adding to the price. Well, the global demand from downstream plasticizers as well as resin industry has also increased the demand for this chemical. So if we see in December, the price of phthalic anhydride that had plummeted on improving supply in US. So the stock was down in the last 6 months around 5%, but today the stock is up around 5% on the back of this news flow.
Okay, that's on the back of a news flow, but Forum, you two have picked out this one for us on the charts. How is it looking like? You know, we had seen a correction when you look at it on a 1 year, a 6 month basis as well. Finally, a turnaround coming in for this?
Yes, I think last week on Thursday we had discussed on the stock, and at that time the stock price was nearly up by 5%. However, we did see some selling pressure coming in. So from the past, say 1 to 2 months, the stock price had been consolidating in a very broad range. So the lower side was 170 and on the higher side was closer to 194. As on Thursday, we did see that it moved up higher, but it closed almost at the breakout level of this consolidation pattern. And on Friday, it corrected a little, which actually turned out to be a buying opportunity. Even right now, since the stock price is already up by 5%, it's already now moving above the consolidation. It indicates that one can even look at buying the stock if somebody has missed out on it. Additionally, overall in the 5 to 6 trading sessions, there has been a very good increase in volume, which is right now supporting the breakout. And this breakout is confirming that we can expect some potential up move in the stock in the near term. Thus, even one can look at buying currently, add on more closer to 194 levels, maintain a stop loss below 187, and can expect an upside target of closer to 207 to 210.
Okay, let's move on and talk about the next one, and we talk about a couple of them. That's GM Financials as well as Indostar Capital. And now you can see a sharp move coming in Indostar Capital. What is happening here is GM Financial's arm, which is Indostar Capital, is actually exploring strategic options in the home loan space, and the housing finance companies are considering options such as potential combination and listing of the retail mortgage portfolio of, of GM Financials as well as Indostar Home Finance businesses, which includes the other mortgage-backed businesses of Indostar as well. So on the back of that, yes, Indostar has given up all its gains in morning trade that we've seen, but yes, keep an eye on both these stocks.
All right, moving on, Foram Exide Industries. How does this one look on the charts to you?
Industries, in fact, had been consolidating or had seen a bit of a corrective decline since December onwards. And before that, we had seen a very steep move. Right from October, the lows were closer to around 150 odd, and it went up to closer to around 194. Since then, we have seen that it's moved into a consolidation phase. Last week, the stock price made a breakout from this consolidated phase, or I would put it across more from a technical pattern of a downward sloping. And after a breakout, after that, we have seen that the stock price has been consolidating in a very narrow range, and the range is on the lower side it's 185 and on the higher side it's 190. During the breakout, the stock price moved above very important moving averages, that is 50 as well as 100, and along with the breakout there was a decent increase in volume. I wouldn't say exceptional, but a decent increase also indicates that the stock can be bullish. So even right now it's an early entry. The stock price is trading at 188, so one can look at buying currently, add on more at a breakout of 190, maintain a stop loss below 184, and the target can be closer to 195 to 196.
All right, before we move on to the next stock, let's take a note of Bank of Maharashtra numbers that's flashing on the bottom of your screen. 35% uptick coming in on an NII basis. If you look at the gross NPA, also has seen a reduction on a quarter-on-quarter basis, 2.4% versus 2.9% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. Coming in for gross NPA, like I mentioned, NII has seen an uptick. You can see the stock price that's seen an uptick as well. 5.9% is where the stock is perched at 29.5 rupees per share. Improvement in the asset quality as well as NII is what you need to note. We'll get some more numbers and then we'll touch upon that particular counter. But moving on, let's talk about KNR Construction, and this particular counter also featured in the Axis Securities list as the pick of the week. So on back of that, you have KNR Constructions. That was a buzz in today's trading session, which was set for a biggest single-day gain since March 6. Axis Securities is called the company company as a pick of the week. They're saying robust growth visibility, favorable, as well as they are seeing favorable industry tailwinds. It has an established track record that will augur well for the company. They're expecting a 17% CAGR in revenue and 10% for core profit over FY22 as well as 25. They have a buy rating on the stock with a target price of around 260 rupees per share. On back of that pick, you can see KNR Constructions is trading high by about 1.2%.
All right, let's move right on then. And Forum, discuss the charts of Lumax Industries. Just walk us through the kind of levels you're looking at.
Well, Lumax Industries is already up today by around 4%. Technically, it's given a breakout. It has moved above the previous highs, which was closer to around 1985 to 1986. Today, the stock price did move up higher, closer to 2064, and currently it is at 2027. However, in spite of being 4% up, it does become a buy at current levels. By this move, it is also marking the 52-week high. So technically, it does makes it even more attractive to buy the stock, which is already at a 52-week high. So one can look at buying the stock at current levels, maintain a stop loss below 1885, and can look for a target of closer to 2170. And even if one is looking for from an investment perspective, that also one can look at it from a longer term view, and the upside target could be closer to around 10%. And today, adding on, this breakout has seen an exceptional increase in volume, which is confirming the bullishness, and thus I'm quite bullish on this stock.
Alright, so at a 52-week high, but still a thumbs up coming in from Foram. She believes it's a good price to buy. Moving right on then, MapMy India is another stock to watch out for on the back of results. You've got the company that posted a revenue growth that came in ahead of what the street was working with. So 7% higher at 73 crore rupees. That's 7% higher sequentially. Margin though, the weakness there clearly limits the bottom line, and that I think is what the street is reading into. So a 40% margin this time around that was lower by about 100 basis points, and that was impacted on account of the higher raw material as well as the higher outsourcing costs. High depreciation as well hurt the PAT number, which came in at 28 crores versus 30 crore rupees, and EBITDA was up about 4.5% sequentially. The open order book grew about 31% to 918 crores. The annual new order booking stood at about 512 crores. And for FY23, the company's revenue from operations grew 41%. Profits for the year at 108 crores with an EBITDA margin of 41.9% for the year.
Let's move on to the next one, and that is PCBL Forum. This is the stock that you picked out for us on the charts. Has seen a correction in the last year or so. What are the charts now indicating? Could we see a bit more correction, or is it the right time to actually enter this now?
Well, as you rightly said, it's seen already a correction. So from those 150 levels, the stock price made a low recently at around 108, which was in 28th of March. Since then, the stock price has started moving up higher, and it has been forming higher tops and higher bottoms for a short term. So currently it is within a technical pattern of an inverted head and shoulder, where the neckline is closer to around 121. But since the stock price is testing these levels very closely from the past couple of days, it indicates that it can break out very soon. RSI is indicating a positive divergence, which is supporting the bullishness in the stock, and the stock price has also moved above the short-term moving average of 50-day. So thus the overall, when we combine, that's the RSI as well as the volumes, along with that the pattern breakout and the moving average, all indicates that there can be a short-term bullishness in the stock. So the stock price can be bought at current levels. One can maintain a stop loss below 115 and look for an upside target of 125. 125 also coincides with the 200-day moving average. So that is a resistance that can be expected. So from a short-term perspective, one can look into the stock.
That's the take coming in on PCBL. We're moving on Ashesha, IndusInd Bank. We are actually waiting for those numbers. Bank of Maharashtra, stellar numbers. But IndusInd, what are we expecting?
Well, yes, margins are expected to be flat on a quarter-on-quarter basis for IndusInd Bank this time. As far as net interest income is concerned, that is expected to see an uptick of a marginal 6% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. As far as pre-provisioning operating profit is concerned, that too is expected to see an uptick of about 4% QOQ basis. As far as PAT is concerned, that is expected to rise a marginal 2%. Gross NPAs, meanwhile, are expected to slip 16 basis points on a quarter-on-quarter basis, while net NPAs are expected to decline by about 2 basis points on a quarter-on-quarter basis. Asset quality will be a key monitorable for IndusInd Bank. Apart from that, slippages, especially from MFI and restructuring book, will also be keenly awaited. So we will be getting those numbers anytime from now, but for now, these are the expectations.
Okay, let's move on and talk about Dornier Industries Forum. Not a stock that we've seen a lot of people pick up, but we had seen a good move, I believe, in this stock in the last couple of weeks. So how are the charts looking for this one then?
Well, this year the stock has been quite volatile. From the highs of nearly 117, the stock price had fell down nearly to 76. That's nearly a correction of 30-odd%. Since then, the stock price has then formed a double bottom, where it has tested these 76 levels twice and moved up higher back to the 97 levels. Today, the stock price is already up by nearly 4-odd%. But on Friday, it had already given a bullish breakout and moved above that resistance of around 97.50. So even right now, one can look at buying 50%, add on more at a retracement when the stock price is testing the breakout level, and can maintain a stop loss below 92 levels and look for a target of 112 rupees to 30 paise. If we combine a lot of parameters, even like the volume has increased in the stock while the stock price was breaking out, and along with that the stock price moved above the multiple moving averages 50 as well as 100. So it indicates that the underlying trend is changing back again to bullish. And RSI, that is the relative strength of the index, is already in the overbought zone. Rather, I would put it more in the bullish zone, so which is adding on more bullishness to the stock. So this stock can continue to see some momentum ahead.
Okay, watch out for that stock. At number 15, then we've got Ajmera Realty. Lisa, walk us through the reason that the stock is in focus today.
Well, of course. So Ajmera Realty has acquired a land parcel from Tata Communication, and the total consideration for the same is around 76 crore, and the land parcel admeasures around 5,000 square meters. So it will greatly benefit Ajmera Realty, as it will be intended for residential development for 1 to 3 BHK homes, and the gross sales value of the same is around 550 crore. So they possess proximity to all the prime locations, and also it goes with the company's growth plans of strengthening footprints in micro markets, that is in Mumbai as well as in the MMR region. So the management has also signaled the potential launch of this project in FY24. So as we can see, Ajmera Realty has reacted positively to this and is holding up gains of more than 2%.
All right, that's the news surrounding Ajmera Realty. But what's your take, Foram? How is it looking on the charts to you?
Well, technically, even I find it quite attractive at current levels. The stock price has already seen a marginal up move, but we've seen the past few days that the realty stocks like DLF and Godrej Properties, etc., have seen a good, decent up move, and Ajmera is yet to see that kind of a move coming in. So the stock price has already given a good, decent up move, but currently from the past 2 weeks, we've seen the stock price consolidating. So currently the stock price is trading at 308, which is 2% up. But it's a good buy at current levels. There is a short-term resistance closer to 318, but in the past there has been a decent increase in volume, which indicates there has been accumulation, and we can expect that the stock price can surpass these levels. So one can look at buying the stock at current levels. Stop loss should be below 297, and the target is nearly 327 to 330. So decent returns can be expected in this stock.
Okay, let's move on and talk about Raghav Productivity. It's a smaller company on that side, but yes, in terms of the numbers that we've seen coming in for the company, a decent set of numbers has come in by Raghav Productivity. Let me just take you through the numbers. We're seeing the revenue at around 35 crores, which is a growth that they're seeing on a year-on-year basis as well as the profits of the company have improved as well. And do not forget that just last week we'd seen Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, who had picked up stake in the company in the Jan to March quarter as well. So keeping an eye out on this stock.
All right, let's discuss the next pick then that Forum has got for us, and it's Rupa and Company. Today the stock is up about 1.5% or so, and in the last 5 days there's been some spectacular traction that we've seen take place. Forum, you're picking out a lot of these movers within the mid and the small cap space that have already had a fiery run up. So what makes you confident about Rupa's charts that it'll continue its up move?
Overall, the industry has been picking up a lot of momentum, and so is in Rupa, that we are seeing that there has been already an upside, but at the same time, we've seen a very steep down move, or I would say from the past couple of months, the stock was already in a down move. It formed or it stabilized at around 200 odd levels. It tested couple of times, and then the stock price is now consolidating in this range between 200 to around 240. Currently, the stock price is making an attempt to give a breakout from these 240 levels. So one can look at buying the stock. Interestingly, there was a couple of days back a good increase in volume, and even a few months, rather in the month of March, there was an exceptional increase. So these increase in volumes are saying that the stock is turning out to be bullish, from down to gradually moving sidewards and now making an attempt to break out from that consolidation, and is indicating that the trend is changing in this stock. So one can look at buying at current levels, maintain a stop loss below the levels of around 224, and upside target is closer to 260.
All right, let's move on and let's talk about Tejas Networks. This one came out with its earnings over the weekend and the stock was under pressure last time I checked. If you look at the stock, or rather if you look at the earnings, if you then consolidated on a consolidated basis, the company reported a loss of about 12 crore rupees as against a loss of about 15 crore rupees on a quarter-on-quarter basis. The EBITDA margin also has contracted by 2.7% versus 2.8%, 2.9% uptick on a quarter-on-quarter basis. They posted an EBITDA loss of about 8 crore rupees versus an EBITDA profit of about 8 crore rupees a quarter ago. And the revenue, however, has seen an uptick of about 9% on a Q-on-Q basis. So on back of that, you have Tejas Networks that is in focus in today's trading session, and the stock is under pressure on back of those numbers.
Okay, Forum, then how is IRFC looking on the charts? What should we be expecting in terms of targets, and is this a buy call?
Well, overall, we've seen that even the sector, or rather the industry, has been performing today. A lot of stocks have been showing some kind of an upside momentum. Talking about particularly IRFC, in fact, in the month of November, it did see a very steep rally, and since then, it has been declining. So from the highs of 37, the stock price made a low of nearly 25, that is a correction of nearly 32%. This low of 25 coincided with the 200-day moving average, and from there, we have seen a bounce in the stock. So a support at 200-day moving average and stock price moving above that indicates that the long-term trend continues to remain intact and bullish. So even right now, the stock price today is up by nearly 4%. It has technically given a breakout from a very small consolidated pattern. So one can look at buying the stock at current levels and maintain a stop loss below the levels of 27.50 and look for an upside target of closer to 31.20. And additionally, there is a positive divergence in RSI. So a positive divergence indicates that there is some bullish momentum that we can expect, and thus I'm bullish on this stock.
All right, a bullish stance there on IRFC. Let's move right on then and discuss AMI Organics at number 20. The stock in focus as the company plans to acquire a 55% stake. This is in Baba Fine Chemicals. They're going to pay a sum of about 68 odd crore rupees for the deal, and it's expected to complete within about 6 months from the approval. Do remember that Baba Fine Chemicals makes custom specialty chemicals which is used in the semiconductor industry. It has a revenue of about 47 odd crores in the previous year gone by, and now marks AMI Organics' foray in the high entry barrier semiconductor industry. Let's move right on.
All right, let's shift focus and Forum. Which is the next stock that you're going to talk about?
Stock that I would like to talk about is ISWO. This stock has already seen a very steep up move in the month of March to rather in the entire month of March. From the lows of closer to 80, the stock price has moved to nearly 156. It made a high recently, and since then we've seen a decline. However, this 92% up move has been quite a steep rally and an outperformance compared to the benchmark index. And after making a high of 156, the stock price has been seeing a bit of a corrective move, or I would say a retracement. And currently today's low of closer to around 126 also coincides with the Fibonacci retracement of around 38.2%. So it has good support levels at around 126 to 127. Thus, one can look at buying the stock at current levels or an add-on more at a lower level closer to 128. And stop loss should be placed below 120 and target is nearly 150 to 155, which coincides with the previous recent highs what we've seen. And interestingly, that the volumes says a lot when the stock price is moving in an uptrend. So while the stock price was moving up, there was a decent increase in volume. However, the retracement comes in with a decline in volume, which indicates that there is not too much of selling pressure coming into the stock. So overall, the stock continues to remain bullish.
Okay, keep an eye out on that one. But on that note, we're going to slip into a very short break. Viewers, don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more stocks after this break.